Education 1030 students. I hope everyone had a great week. So we just finished up our Unit 2 exam. Now we're starting to work into Unit 3, which is our last unit in this course. So I wanted to start out with the syllabus schedule so you can kind of see where we are at and kind of where we're going for the rest of the term. So if you notice, we don't have many chapters left. So this week we're going to do 2 chapters. We're doing chapters 9 and 10. And in this section of the course, we are going to refer to this as really thinking critically and also thinking of the term what we call literacy, right? So we're thinking about what is information literacy, how do I think critically, how do I evaluate resources, and you're also going to get a chance to kind of navigate the library webpage and the sources that they offer. So here, this week you'll see you are working in 2 chapters, so this is just like we did in Unit 2. You will be responsible for 2 chapter tests, or quizzes, and then 2 chapter assignments as well. Within Chapter 9, that library tour I feel is going to allow you to kind of learn how the database is. I have extra information in there for you as a resource that really helps you, especially if you're not familiar with how to research and to use your research in your course assignments. Also, there is a chance for you to earn some bonus points with the library quiz module that you'll go through. When you're finished and you complete the module, you can take the library quiz, which will give you bonus points towards your overall grade. So that's something that I would encourage you to do if you are needing extra credit. So let's jump on into Chapter 9. So as I mentioned, Chapter 9 is really focusing on collecting, evaluating, using information. We call this information literacy, right? So we're learning how to use the library. We're learning how to write, speak effectively. We're really broadening our horizons and aware of the resource the library has. How can we use this in our course assignments? And then taking the assignments that you have, say you're doing speech, fundamentals of communication, or a paper, and research is required, this module is going to help you support, right? So we have the supplemental videos that you're going to watch, but also through the chapter, it does offer that support to show you, well, how do I actually think critically? How am I going to use this information? Where do I begin when I'm trying to search or start my research process? So we have the PowerPoint slides that will go along with Chapter 9. The 2 videos I mentioned are really good in terms of, remember, we're trying to make connections. So we read the chapter, but we want something to deepen that connection or that deep learning happening. So that's why I give you these videos as a resource. So if you are a visual learner or an oral learner, these videos are really good and complement the chapter. They go a little bit beyond. So one of the videos I give you talks specifically about information, right? What is information literacy? And then the next video is really about, once you find those resources, are they credible, right? You're actually starting to evaluate the things that you're finding and seeing, can I use this? What do I do with it? What information am I taking out of it? So those videos are really helpful in that sense. So for your chapter assignments, as I mentioned, you are going to be having a chance to earn some bonus points through what we call a library module quiz. So I'm giving you a chance to do that, but one of the things you have to do first is you're going to take a tour of the library. So we have a library module that the librarian, or we call them research coaches, put together for you. And it really just walks you through the overall grasp of the library as a resource, but research basics, a basic introduction to the database, right? The services they offer, and then how this is helping you. So to navigate through the module, you will use the tabs at the top. So as you click through them, it will take you through different sections of the module, and that's how you'll navigate the module. So one of the things you notice when you click on the library tour, there's a link, which is where we were just at, that you do the virtual library tour. But there's a second link that's going to take you directly to that bonus module quiz. Remember, this is for extra credit. This is not required for grading. You do have a required Chapter 9 quiz that will close on November the 14th at 11:30. So just keep that in mind. In addition to your Chapter 9 quiz, you are going to be responsible and for a chapter assignment. This time, this assignment's going to look a little bit different because we're doing something called a case study. So a case study is different in the sense that it's kind of like the profiles that you're reading at the beginning of each chapter. So this is based on an actual student who is taking a first-year seminar course, such as yourself. And it tells you about the student and where they are. So specifically with this case study is about Jane, right? And Jane has to put together a presentation based off research topic. Now this tells you a little bit about Jane's story, and what you're going to do is you're going to read the case study, and what you're going to do is you're going to use the case study to answer these discussion questions. Now, how you get those answers is going to be specifically from your textbook, because if you read the instructions of the assignment, it explains or it instructs you to look at providing text-based responses. So textbook means you're going to look in the textbook to help you answer these questions. You will also use the information given to you in the case study. Now remember, when you're doing discussion questions, it's a little bit different than answering a question on a quiz, right? Because discussion questions, there's a lot to it. A lot of times it'll ask you why after the question. So for instance, in the first one, it says, what should Jane have done differently when developing the plan for her paper? Why? So there's two parts to each question. And what you're going to do is you're going to give an elaborate response, which means it needs to be very thorough and it needs to come from your textbook. So just keep that in mind, that one sentence answer is not going to suffice with this case study, or any case study works, because a discussion asks for more, right? Because we're engaging with the topic and we're not going to just do one-word answers. That does not elaborate enough. That's not thinking critically, which is one of the reasons that we're having you do these case studies this week, is because we really want you to learn about thinking critically and information literacy. So that covers Chapter 9. Let's move into Chapter 10 because you're also responsible for Chapter 10 this week. So with Chapter 10, we're going to take it a step further. In Chapter 9, we learned what information literacy was, about how you evaluate resources, but now we're going to look at what is thinking in college. What does that look like? Where is that deep connections, right? So we have to learn concepts, right? So this is really going to help you look and give you a visual into thinking critically. Now, when we think critically, we think of Bloom's taxonomy, right? That's like a visual for you. Bloom's taxonomy is the levels of learning, right, that you are involved in. And what that does is it allows you to be a problem solver, to think critically, to collaborate with others. What's slow thinking and fast thinking, right? Having a better understanding and a deeper understanding of the concepts, and include practical applications and strategies. So that's really going to be the focus of Chapter 10. As always, I give you your PowerPoint slides and reading organizers. Remember, the reading organizers you do not turn in until the unit exam. That will allow you to earn extra bonus points toward your unit exam. I've not had many people take advantage of this, so if you're needing extra bonus points, this is always a good way to earn them on the exam, which then averages into your overall grade average. You also have two videos here that I think is going to help you make a deeper connection. So one of them is specifically talking about what critical thinking is, and then, as I mentioned above, you have Bloom's taxonomy, and how we're going to start using those levels to think more critically in our courses. Now, for your assignments for Chapter 10, you're going to have your Chapter 10 quiz, but you will also be completing a second case study. So now you've done Chapter 9 case study, you're going to move into Chapter 10 case study, which you should be a little bit more familiar with case studies at this point. This is about a student taking a history class, right? And he is getting feedback from his instructor regarding his response paper, right, about his history class. And you're going to read about Michael's struggle. And what I want you to do is, as you're reading this, I really want you to focus on the chapter 10, the videos you watch about thinking critically, thinking about the Bloom taxonomy level, because we're going to refer to that in the discussion questions. And if you'll see here, question 1 for the discussion question has a lot of parts to it. So when we're reading the discussion questions, it's important for you to be able to answer all the parts for each question. Remember, just as we did in Chapter 9 case study, Chapter 10 also requires more elaboration, more critical thinking. The response needs to be a little bit more than one sentence or one word. That will pretty much cover what we talked about for this week. I hope you take advantage of the library module quiz, which will allow you those bonus points. And I really hope that you get a lot out of these 2 chapters, because I feel like this is something that is important as a college student. All right, as always, I'm here if you need any help, please reach out. And until next time, guys, take care.